Okay, so I think we're going live. I can't really tell. Let me just have a quick look here. Just bear with me 1 minute and we'll just make sure that everything's going live there. And it looks like it is. So there we go. I'll just have to turn that one off. So welcome to the very first Entrepreneurs live stream, which is pretty cool. It's a big step for me to be going live, unscripted, and no backup or anything like that. Just excuse the headphones. It just gives me a way of hearing myself, just to make sure that everything sounds okay. And yeah, well, I do apologise. I have been a bit slack again, and not getting that content out every week. But she's been a pretty crazy couple of weeks, as I'm sure everyone can attest to. So it's a unprecedented times, really. We're in the grasp of a pandemic, and we're sort of bordering on total lockdown, which is pretty crazy, sort of, when you think about it, and all due to a virus. So the coronavirus, as we all know. I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts around the coronavirus, so just pop those details in the comments. And I don't know if I'll be able to get to the comments at the moment, because I'm a one-man band at the moment. I'm still learning this whole process. I mean, I have been doing live streaming for a couple of years now with work, but this is the very first time that I've actually done it for Entrepreneurs. And I've got a whole bunch of stuff going on here. Just to give you a bit of an idea, if I just have a quick look there. So you can see we've got the laptop, and I'm running a program here. I'll talk to you more about that in a minute. We've got the stream deck here. I've got a little monitor over here so I can see that I'm actually in focus. And yes, so this is the little webcam. I'm just using a single camera, which is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K, beautiful camera. So we're sort of just seeing how all of that runs at the moment. I'll give you a bit of a breakdown on how all of this gear works if you're interested, because I think it's potentially a great opportunity for a lot of people. So how's your new year going? I mean, we're nearly 3 months down already, which is pretty crazy. When you think about it, that's only just seems like we're just starting that year off, and all those new goals for 2020, and it's been a pretty crazy time. And yeah, I'd just love to hear what's going on with you guys. So talking a little bit more about the virus and the effect that it's having on everyone. I know quite a few. I'm in quite a few forums online. And a lot of the guys based over in the States, like event photographers and things like that, with sporting teams and schools and all that sort of stuff, they've pretty much lost probably 95% of their business, and there's some major disruption to their work and lives. And I guess the same's going to happen here. And I'm saying it's probably already is happening. I know the wedding industry, a lot of photographers are really struggling there with cancellations and events and all that sort of stuff. Even at work ourselves, we've moved to more of a online sort of a forum or digital platform, so that we can still deliver our content, and we can still deliver our education and that sort of stuff. And I think that's a big takeaway, is that if you're able to pivot, now's the time where you need to sort of be able to pivot and say, okay, well, if you've got a message, or if you've got content that you need to deliver to people that you would normally have done it face-to-face or in a group environment, then maybe you need to consider going online or live streaming, as scary as it is. You could also, just any of those sorts of forms, like web conferencing and all those sorts of things. All that technology is out there and it's available, but I guess it can be a bit of a minefield if you don't really know what's sort of going on. So I guess I'm lucky in that regard, in that I'm pretty tech savvy, and I'm always interested to find out how things work, and I'm always interested in making the workflow a little bit easier. And so hopefully everything's running well. Looks like everything's running well. So bear with me there. We'll just see how things pan out. I know I've got dinner waiting for me, so I won't be too long. But I'm excited to be doing this. It's actually the heart rate's a little bit elevated, and I'm sort of definitely outside of my comfort zone in doing this. So normally I like to have it all sort of well versed, but I have spent a little bit of time today getting some automation happening with the software that I'm using. So if we look at the software that we're talking about, it's a program called VMix, and you can head to the website which is vmix.com. They're actually an Australian-based company, and that's exciting. Like I always love to hear about Australian-based companies that are really sort of, I guess they're on the cutting edge of technology when it comes to software that can produce live streaming or production, where a lot of this, I guess a lot of this gear or a lot of this would have been done with big boxes of switches and big cable runs of 100 different cables running here, there and everywhere. But these guys, they've been around for a little while now, and I have been following them for quite some time. It's only recently I've gone down that path of actually getting a license for the product, and if you're interested, they do have a free 90-day trial running at the moment, which is pretty amazing. It used to be a 60-day trial, which was fantastic because it really gave you a good opportunity to try out the software. But because of the recent announcements with the coronavirus and things like that, they're extending that for that period to 90 days. So if you think about that, we're in March now, so you could potentially have this program until the end of June, or pretty close to the end of June, to test it out and see if it's a solution that can work for you. It's certainly not for the faint-hearted, I guess. There is a learning curve, as there is with any sort of new software, but I find it, it's fairly intuitive, but you just got to take some time to learn about it. And they do have a bunch of tutorials on their YouTube channel, so you can just type in VMix and their channel will come up. And the guys, I think it's Martin and Tim, the guys that run the show. They have a live show that they produce every month, and they're pretty geeky, and I can sort of relate to that fairly well. Yeah, I'd like to meet up with them one day and sort of talk shop. So I'm sure that we can get onto that at some point. But so the software is designed so that you can have multiple inputs, essentially. So I can have multiple cameras. Like I said, I've got the one main camera that we're looking at there, and I've got a webcam. So that main camera is running through an interface which is just via USB-C, and then I've also got this one running into USB. And on top of that, they have this function called VMix Call. So essentially, you can just send people to a browser address and put in a code, and you can bring those people in. So, for example, this is well, there's 4 of me there, but with the license that I have for this particular program, I can bring up to 4 additional people in. So I could have myself in the middle, and I could have all my guests around the outside. There's multiple different ways that you can actually set this up. Just bear with me there for a moment. We'll just, if I can find it really quickly. What do we call that one? The browser. VMix call setup. Here we go. Okay. So if I go into settings, I can't really sort of show you this at the moment, but basically they've got a whole bunch of preset layouts so that you can sort of change how things look. as in the different types of layouts. You know, if you've only got 2 people, you can just sort of mix and match to sort of however you want to sort of set it up. So it's a pretty helpful tool, and pretty reliable as well. Like as far as the quality, you've got to have a fairly decent. Oh, now I didn't mention it is a PC based program, so you won't be able to run it on Mac unless you. I don't know what you do with Macs to make them run like Windows, but yeah, it only runs on a Windows machine, which is a good thing because I like Windows and I like PCs. So you do have to have a fairly decent PC, and as far as graphics capabilities and processing capabilities, because obviously you can potentially run a whole bunch of stuff. Let me just go back to the main screen. Apologise for that. Yeah, as far as the automation goes, it's pretty incredible. We can do a whole bunch of things in as far as I've got my it supports NDI, which is Network Device Interface, and so I've got my computers set up on a local area network, so I can actually bring that computer in as well, which is pretty handy. So through NDI, so it's fairly low resource intensive in that regard. To if you can bring those sources in from anywhere on a local network, which is pretty amazing. What else can I say about it? It's I'm currently, you can stream, so you can do multiple streams depending on your upload speeds and things like that. So but at the moment I'm just sort of doing the one stream to YouTube, but I could also stream to Facebook at the same time, which is pretty cool. So by all means jump on board vmix.com. Like I was saying, have a look at it and get a free download for 90 days. And if you've got any questions or anything like that, just pop them in the comments and I'd be happy to reach out to me, for those of you who know how to get in touch. But otherwise just pop your details in the comments and I'd be happy to have a chat to you about it. Not that I'm an expert, but I like the program. I think it has a lot to offer, and from a production point of view, it tends to be, I think it just adds a lot of production value to what we're sort of doing. There's a lot of automation, so I've just set up the let me just head over to here. So I've set up this Stream Deck. It's a Elgato Stream Deck, and you can actually program all of the buttons. And the cool thing with this one is, if I bring it around, if we have a look there, it's got the individual LED displays for each of the buttons, so you can actually program that in with your own pictures or a thumbnail. So you can see here on the second row there the cameras that I've got sort of set up there. So pretty cool little device, and certainly makes running a one-man production a whole lot easier when you can automate things like that. So jump on board, have a look at it, and like I said, if you've got any questions, by all means give me a call or get in touch. So so from that point of view, I guess what I'm saying there is that small businesses, for example, it's a great way to get your message out there, so you can reach a lot of people through live streaming or video production or online content. And I guess the big thing about that is offering value to a value proposition. So we could be solving people's problems. So say for example you might be a handyman, you could be putting out content relating to 100 different videos on little jobs around the house that you could show people how to do. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's taking trust away, doesn't mean it's taking work away from you, but it's actually it's an opportunity where you can add value to people's lives, and and once you can add value, you can build that trust with them, and over a period of time, when they do want to complete those bigger jobs, you're top of mind because they're watching your content all the time. So I think that sort of strategy can apply to a lot of different industries across the board, and yeah, so it's, I think, live streaming or producing some online content is a great way to, particularly now with the restrictions that we've got in place, it's the ideal platform to get your message out there. So I would encourage you to give it a go. You could do it with something as simple as a phone. You can live stream on your phone if you're not too tech savvy and you don't have all this sort of gear available to you. Then you can start just simply on the phone. So we can sort of run you through that at some stage, how you would do that, and maybe just look at the different stages of live streaming, as far as the equipment requirements and things like that. But yeah, you can get out of it fairly cheaply, like whatever they call these webcams. Sorry, webcams are pretty cheap, so that's a good way to start as well. And most computers will have a webcam built in, like a laptop. So there's 100 different ways you can do it, but I would definitely encourage you, particularly at this point in time, is to develop a strategy around how you can deliver content online, and probably more so as well, with the restrictions around meetings and things like that. This is a perfect platform to conduct those meetings. We've got programs like Zoom and Skype and those sorts of things that can really sort of help you still have those meetings. I know there's been a lot of meetings cancelled in relation to, like, say, for example, local sporting groups and things like that. I've seen a few cancellations of meetings and things like that. So live streaming would be a perfect opportunity to actually, people can still be in their own space and be isolated from the rest of the population, but still be having those conversations, the important conversations around moving forward, how we're going to deal with all of this stuff. And it's going to be a very different landscape in months to come. So and hopefully we'll have a bit more toilet paper. Don't get me started on that one. And it's crazy why people think that they need to hoard products, food and all that sort of stuff. My wife was out shopping today, and there was no meat or no meat available. There was very few, if any, still in the toilet paper. People are still stocking toilet paper. I don't know. There's a great little video getting around of a guy saying how long your toilet paper is going to last you, and how many times you would have to go to the toilet every day to use up those supplies of toilet paper. Anyway, so I won't talk any more about that, but I'd love to hear about, like this, we do hear a lot of negatives about the situation going on at the moment, but I think there's a lot of positives that can come out of it, or that have come out of it. So pop your details, just tell me in the comments what are the positive things that you've seen as a result of the what's been happening with the virus and the lockdown, potential lockdown situations. Pop them in the comments. I'd love to sort of read what's going on there, and by all means, I'm probably going to wrap it up there because I've run out of things to say. So I do appreciate you jumping online and watching this. And if you've got any suggestions as for live streaming, ideas of what you might want to learn, I can actually bring you in on a conversation if you like. So reach out to me and pop your details in the comments, and we can start a conversation. Anyway, in the meantime, until the next one, I kind of like this idea of doing a live stream because it means I don't have to edit it afterwards, which is pretty cool. When we're all a little bit time poor, that can actually make a big difference to your life. So hopefully we might do this again very soon, and let me know what you'd like to have a chat about. All the best for the upcoming week, and stay safe, stay healthy, and have an awesome time, whatever it is that you're doing. And yeah, nothing more to say from me. All right, Over and out.